Welcome back to 10-Minute Prophecy, where we go through the prophecies of Daniel and Revelation verse by verse in bite-sized chunks. Thank you for joining us again. We hope that this journey through Bible prophecy has been enlightening, whether you are new to prophecy or have studied prophecy in the past. As always, if you haven't seen the previous presentations, please watch them as each prophecy builds on each other. The link to our playlist is down in the description below. You will also find the video on the non-denominational biblical prophetic interpretation method that has proven itself over and over again in world events both past, present, and can be relied upon to understand the future. See the link in the description below. Now we start with Revelation 10 after having finished the sixth trumpet, which is the second woe in Revelation 9. We just found out that Revelation exactly pinpointed the Ottoman Empire's start and downfall, and now we are about to see an interesting development. Verses 1 and 2 start with, "And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the earth." This passage is another example in the book of Revelation of a break in the main sequence of events. Chapter 10 serves as a parenthetical prophecy, meaning it is an inserted section that briefly shifts focus before continuing the main timeline. Chapter 9 ends with the events of the sixth trumpet, but the seventh trumpet does not sound until chapter 11, verse 15. This means that all of chapter 10 and part of chapter 11 act as a pause between the sixth and seventh trumpets. Everything directly related to the sixth trumpet is found in chapter 9, but before introducing the seventh trumpet, what Jesus reveals through the prophet includes other important events in this section. One of these key events is the prophecy in chapter 10, which we will now examine, starting with its timeline. Here we see the little book introduced. What is this little book? The phrase "he had in his hand a little book open" suggests that this book was once closed or sealed. In the book of Daniel, we find a prophecy about a book that was to be sealed until a specific time. "But you, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase." Daniel 12, verse 4. Since the book was only sealed until the time of the end, it makes sense that at that point it would be opened. If prophecy specifically mentioned its closing, we should also expect prophecy to mention its opening, and Revelation 10 appears to do just that. The only book in the Bible that was sealed is the book of Daniel's prophecy. Likewise, the only place in Scripture where a book is described as being opened is in Revelation 10. The connection becomes even clearer when we compare their contents. Daniel's sealed book contained prophecies about time, as seen in the question, "How long shall it be to the end of these wonders?" Similarly, when the angel in Revelation 10 comes down with the little book open, he proclaims a message related to time. Time shall be no longer. This strong parallel confirms that the little book in the angel's hand is the book of Daniel's prophecy, now opened and ready to be understood in the last days. Now we must pinpoint the time of the angel's message. This will be apparent here in Revelation 10 by looking at the appearance of the angel. Since the book in his hand is open, and we know from Daniel 12 verse 4 that Daniel's prophecies were sealed until the time of the end, this means the angel's proclamation must take place after the time of the end begins. The next step is to determine when the time of the end actually started, and the book of Daniel itself provides the answer. In Daniel 11 verses 30 to 35, the prophecy describes the rise and rule of the papal power. Verse 35 states, "Some of them of understanding shall fall to refine them, purify them, and make them white until the time of the end." This refers to the persecution under papal rule, which lasted 1,260 years, a time period mentioned multiple times in Daniel and Revelation. This period ended in AD 1798, when the Pope was taken captive, marking the fall of papal supremacy. At that point, the Book of Daniel was unsealed, and since then, many have studied it intensely, leading to a dramatic increase in understanding of Bible prophecy, just as Daniel 12, verse 4 predicted. The timeline of the events in Revelation 10 becomes even clearer when we recognize that the angel in this chapter is the same as the first angel in Revelation 14. There are several key similarities between them. 1. Both have a special message to proclaim. 2. Both speak with a loud voice. 3. Both refer to God as the creator of heaven, earth, and the sea. 4. Both proclaim a message about time. One declares that time shall be no more, while the other announces that the hour of God's judgment has come. The first angel's message in Revelation 14 is clearly meant for the last generation of people on earth because it proclaims that the time of God's judgment has arrived. This message was not preached by Paul, who spoke of a future judgment, nor by Martin Luther, who believed judgment was still at least 300 years away in his time. Paul even warned against preaching that Christ's return was near too soon. He explained that certain events must happen first, including the rise of the man of sin, which is the papacy, which ruled for 1,260 years, ending in 1798. Once papal rule ended in 1798, the restriction against preaching that Christ's return was near was lifted. This is when the time of the end began. The book of Daniel was unsealed, and the message of Revelation 14 declaring God's judgment had come began to be preached. Around this same time, the angel in Revelation 10 was also seen standing on both the sea and the land, swearing that time would be no more. This imagery of the angel standing on both sea and land symbolizes that the message would spread across the world, not just to one nation, but across oceans to reach every continent. And history confirms this. From 1840 to 1844, the Great Awakening with the Advent message spread to every missionary station on earth, marking the global fulfillment of these prophecies. Verse 3 and 4 says, "And cried with a loud voice as when a lion roareth, and when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not." But why mention the 7 thunders at all? If we follow this idea, it suggests that when we face unexpected challenges, like sudden storms in a clear sky, we shouldn't lose faith. Just as God sealed up the message of the 7 thunders, some things remain hidden for a reason, and we can trust that everything is unfolding according to His plan. Verses 5 and 6 state, "And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven, and sware by him that liveth for ever and ever, who created heaven, and the things that therein are, and the earth, and the things that therein are, and the sea, and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer." Time no longer. What does it mean? What does this solemn declaration mean? It cannot mean that time itself will end, because the next verse speaks about the days of the 7th angel, and Revelation 11:15 through 19 describes events that still take place on earth. It also cannot mean the end of probationary time, because that doesn't happen until Christ finishes his work as high priest, which is after the 7th angel begins to sound, Revelation 11:19. The only logical meaning is that prophetic time, which is the specific time periods given in prophecy, will come to an end. This does not mean that time will never be used in a prophetic sense again. For example, the days of the voice of the 7th angel likely refer to years. However, no prophetic timeline extends beyond this message, and all the time prophecies that reach the farthest point conclude here. The longest prophetic time periods, as outlined in Daniel 8:14, all end by the autumn of 1844. More details can be found in the Daniel 8 video. This concludes our time together. Thank you for joining us. We hope you have enjoyed this nugget of prophecy. Join us next time as we finish Revelation 10. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and don't forget to like and subscribe. We look forward to seeing you again soon.